All right, welcome everybody. I am going to do a very fast introduction speed crystal class to help you really understand why you love crystals and start to give you an idea of why you're very drawn to them. Because this is a conversation I've been having with a lot of people. You know, why am I drawn to crystals? Why am I buying crystals when I don't know how to work with them and I don't even remember the names of them? There's a reason. There's a reason. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Allie Phillips, and I am a hodgepodge of all sorts of different, unique, and interesting careers. So I have been an attorney for 30 years in the field of criminal prosecution, and now you know why I play with crystals. So, because most days in that work, I want to throat punch people and poke them in the eyes and tell them to stop it. So, so anyway, I've been in that field for 30 years, primarily now teaching prosecutors on best practices involving animal abuse and domestic violence. Yet another reason why I play with crystals and essential oils all day long. So I am also the CEO and the founder of a nonprofit that I created called Sheltering Animals and Families Together, where I help domestic violence shelters create on-site pet housing. I am also the owner of Manifested Harmony, and I am coming up on my 13-year anniversary of starting that business. And I started it while I was still a full-time attorney in Washington, D.C., because I was getting all of these certifications. I mean, I've lost track. I know I have at least 7 energy and coaching certifications. But I started getting all of these certifications, and I love to teach what I learn. And it ended up building into a full-time business. Go figure. When you do what you love, you get supported. So I am an advanced crystal master teacher, and what that means is that I spent 18 months mentoring and training with a science teacher. And I got 2 different certifications, one of which is an advanced crystal master. And I have been teaching crystal classes since 2012. So I'm going into my 12th year of teaching. And as you're going to see, I don't teach like other teachers, and I'm not teaching what you can read about in a book, because all the books say the same thing. And the books are all fine and well, but I teach a little bit differently because I go into the science, because at the end of the day, I still have a lawyer brain, and I need a logical answer, and I need evidence. I was the queen of the evidentiary rules in the courtroom, and I loved introducing evidence during trials. So I need evidence before I'm going to believe anything, and before I certainly teach and share anything. So I come at things very, very, very differently than other teachers. And if I know some of you on this call have taken my full day crystal classes, and you know I teach things very differently. So I also play around and have fun with essential oils, and I'm the author of the Oily Crystal book, the Oily Pet book, which are both now in their 2nd edition. If you haven't gotten the 2nd edition, the 2nd editions are available. And I created the Oily Crystal Masterclass. And I just got back from the Tucson show, which, if you're not aware of what the Tucson show is, it is the largest gem and mineral show on the planet. It runs for, depending on which show you go to, usually between 2 and 3 weeks, but this year, it was 46 different shows throughout the city of Tucson. 46. I went to 17 of them in 2.5 days. And it's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of vendors. So it's a trip. for sure. And I just brought back 200 pounds of crystals that I am now getting ready to sell. So anyway, all right. And so I mentioned I'm the creator of the Oily Crystal Masterclass. So if you love essential oils and you love crystals, and even if you have my Oily Crystal book, this goes deeper. This goes very, very deep. It's an 8-hour class and a 70-page workbook because that's how much there is to talk about. So just as a thank you for being here, you can use coupon code 10OFF and get 10% off of it. And you can peruse it at your leisure, but I can guarantee it will dramatically change how you think about crystals and essential oils. And the one thing people who have taken this class love about the workbook is I give you the energetic meaning of crystals, an alphabetical list in the back of the workbook of crystals, and an alphabetical listing of the single essential oils. So no blends, but singles like cardamom and basil and peppermint. And people love those explanations and definitions. So I encourage you, if you love oils and crystals, that's your class. That's a class that you want to get in. And then if you're really into a spiritual awakening and you're like, I have no idea what's going on in my world, everything around me is changing, I'm changing, you know, maybe you're feeling off, you're feeling unmotivated, your relationships are changing, how you feel about your work, like everything is changing and you're like, what the heck is happening? I have a community called the Sacred Shift, and we are in our 4th year, and I am talking about the energy shift that we are in and helping them understand it. So there are several of you who are listening right now who are in that group, and I'm helping them understand that they're not crazy. We're not crazy. We're in an energy shift. Crystals can help. Essential oils can help. The food you eat can help. Understanding what's happening with the shift can help. So, I mean, it is literally a buffet for your soul of all sorts of things that can help you with the shift. So, again, if this is something that you're interested in and you want to join a community, I mean, this is where we talk about some really, really deep, deep, deep topics. So again, you know, you can join our community. There's a coupon code there at the bottom right. Because my goal in my business is to help people feel better when everything in our world just seems really crazy. I want to help you feel better. And so that's why I love crystals. So let's dive in. Let's talk about crystals, and let me dive into a little bit of the science. There's a lot of science with crystals. Okay. So in my crystal classes, I discuss 2 different belief systems related to crystals. I talk about the purist and the scientists. They're 2 very, very different viewpoints with crystals. So because I am primarily a left brain person, but I have a very balanced right brain at the same time, I really teach to appeal to both sides of your brain. Okay, I am not just coming at you with woo-woo. You know, when people say to me that crystals are woo-woo, woo-woo says who? Can we talk some quantum physics? Can I talk some physics principles with you? Can I talk some Tesla math with you? This is the stuff that I teach in my crystal classes to help you understand what crystals really do. So when I'm teaching, I help people recognize which side they fall on: scientist viewpoint, purist viewpoint. Are you going to flip back and forth? I flip back and forth all the time between the 2 viewpoints, and wherever you land is right for you. Okay, so let's do a little bit of the science first. So without getting too technical, crystals, and do y'all have a crystal? In the chat, type me your favorite crystal. Okay, I am hanging out here with Auralite, a red-capped Auralite 23, and a white aragonite, 2 very different crystals that you work with in 2 very different ways. So Crystals have what's called a fixed repeating crystalline geometric pattern. And I know that's a mouthful, but crystals form from the inside out at a molecular level, and it's called a crystalline lattice. This is what differentiates crystals from stones and rocks. So when I see, especially crystal sellers, calling these stones and rocks, a little part of my crystalline soul dies inside. It's like, no, 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 no. Rocks and stones are what you find out in your garden and in your yard and on the beach and in the woods. They're not crystals. Okay. Rocks, stones, crystals, and gems all have very distinct meaning that I go through in the basic class that I teach. So with crystals, in some of them, you can actually see a growth pattern. Like the photo that's on the screen is actually up here in my bookshelf. It's a fluorite tower. And you can actually, you see the swirls in it? That is the growth pattern of the crystal. And so crystals grow from the inside out in a corkscrew type pattern. And that corkscrew pattern actually has meaning. So it is the shapes and the patterns of crystals that fascinate me the most. And I teach my students what each shape, what each pattern, what each inclusion, you know, all of the stuff that you see inside of crystals is not damage. They're called inclusions and they have specific meanings. Every color has a meaning. And when you can understand the colors and the minerals that create the colors and the shapes and the inclusions and the patterns, you actually don't need to rely on a crystal book. And that's what I love to teach my students. So, you know, when I go to crystal shows like Tucson, and I see these overly shaped, overly polished and processed crystals, they honestly have lost a lot of their crystalline energy. I mean, I go to Tucson and I see sometimes a freak show of crystals. I should have actually put a photo in here of it. I mean, there's a vendor that's taking crystals and turning them into parrots and turtles. And I mean, just all, they're beautiful to look at, but it's like, did you really need to do that? So, you know, when you're drawn to specific shapes and specific colors and specific crystals, it's actually telling you a lot about where you are in your journey, your healing journey. We all have healing to do. Okay. As human beings, we all have healing to do. And so it's very instructive of where you're at. And with crystals, you know, everything is energy in the world. Everything is made up of energy. You're made up of energy. I'm made up of energy. You know, this air right here is energy. Everything is made up of energy, including crystals. And crystals have a base resonant frequency or a dominant oscillatory rate that is constant and not impacted by entropy. Entropy is destruction. We suffer from entropy all day long. So do animals, so do plants. Okay. You know, we suffer from high rates of entropy because the physical structure of our body and our cells are not fixed. You know, our cells are constantly growing and dying, growing and dying. I mean, our organs completely turn over every several years. You know, if you do any sort of skincare regimen, like, you know, a face scrub, like I love Young Living's, you know, satin mint face scrub, it's because my cells on my face are turning over and I got to get rid of them. Okay. So, you know, we suffer from high rates of entropy, but crystals do not. Crystals do not. And we are made mostly of water, and water fluctuates. If you've ever studied Dr. Emoto and his water experiments, I talk about this in all my crystal classes, and I go into detail, but water fluctuates and you can change the structure of water. We are mostly water. We're about 70% water. So humans and animals are naturally drawn to crystals because we have crystals in our body. You know, the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom, which is crystals, and the plant kingdom, which is plants, where our beautiful essential oils come from, they all communicate in vibrational frequency with each other. They're having a conversation that doesn't involve words. And so this is what I love to go into detail in my crystal classes to help you understand why you are drawn to crystals. It's literally a vibrational frequency conversation that your body is having with the frequency of a crystal. It's fascinating to describe it. And when I see the aha looks on my students' faces, they're like, now I understand. And this is why I always tell my students, I'm really sorry, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time to your credit card, because when a crystal starts communicating with you, it will not stop until you take it home. And if it happens to be a crystal that's maybe $500 or $5,000, I'm just going to apologize to you up front, because crystals will communicate with you, and it's a vibrational frequency communication. So in my basic crystal class, I go into 3 physics principles that really explain how our body, our DNA, at a cellular level, at a molecular level, reacts in the presence of a crystal. And it's just going to explain so much of why you're drawn to crystals. I mean, even when I go to shows, you know, I was in Tucson this time last week, and you know, invariably I see someone there who I can tell does not believe in crystals. You know, maybe, you know, it's a spouse of somebody who is there buying, and they just have this look on their face like, I cannot believe you're spending all this money. But they always reach out and touch a crystal. Always, always, because I watch them. And that is a vibrational frequency that causes us to touch crystals. Okay, so when we come into contact with the base resonant frequency of a crystal, and the crystals have this fixed structure and we don't, we fluctuate all day long. We are up and down, up and down, up and down. Crystals are solid, which is why they are literally billions of years old. This is Oralite 23, 2 billion years old. Okay, crystals dominate our energy field because of these physics principles and because of the principle of entropy. So crystals literally dominate our energy field and will synchronize our frequency in our body with the crystal. And that's the short story. Okay, it takes me hours to explain that and really help you understand it in my basic class, but that's the short story. All right, so you know, like I said, we know that everything in creation has a frequency to it. Everything has a frequency and has a vibrational rate to it. And when we have crystals in our home, or we have crystals around us or on us, we literally become the frequency of the crystal. It's why when you hold a crystal, you feel good. It doesn't matter what the crystal is. There are crystals that ground us. I'm going to talk about those. There are crystals that raise our frequency. I'm going to go and talk about those in a little bit. It doesn't matter what the crystal is. When you hold a crystal, you feel good because it's changing your vibrational frequency out of whatever you're feeling. So crystals have an energy field to them. Our bodies have an energy field to them. Okay, we have it's called a torus. We have this energy field around us. And it's why you can come into contact with somebody, and if they are really negative and just complaining about everything, you walk away feeling worse because their energy just got into your energy field and just yucked it up. Or you can come into contact with somebody who's super positive and really uplifting, and you walk away feeling great. Everybody's energy is mixing and blending and cluttering up everybody else's energy. So we got to be very careful about the energy that we bring out into the world, right? Crystals positively impact our energy field. because crystals themselves have an energy field to them. So in my basic class, I demonstrate a technique where I actually show how to measure the energy field of a crystal, and it is phenomenal. It is just awesome, and everybody just freaks out and goes crazy about it. But the short story is that the bigger the crystal, the bigger the energy field. There is a time and a place for every size crystal, from your tiniest. Here, I'm actually going to take a crystal out of one of my crystal grids. This is a little tiny Herkimer diamond crystal. There is a time and a place for this, and there is a time and a place for this. And that's what I love to teach my students, is when to use certain sizes, when to use certain shapes, when to use certain crystals, and then actually how to use them. So here is something, here's a little aha moment that I want to share with you. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Bruce Lipton. He wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. If you have never read that book, after this class, go to Amazon and order it. That book will dramatically change your life. It will dramatically change your life, okay? So Dr. Bruce Lipton is a cellular biologist. And in this book, Biology of Belief, he talks about how our DNA has these little antennas on them. And our DNA with the little antennas are constantly examining our surroundings for frequencies. And our DNA will reshape itself to synchronize with the frequency. So when a crystal is actually introduced into our human, or for our pets, our energy field, that, you know, this egg-shaped bubble that we have around us, the crystal acts as an oscillator. Okay, so this is a very scientific principle. The crystal acts as an oscillator. An oscillator is a frequency stabilizer. Who wants to have a stable frequency and not be a hot mess? Everybody. Everybody. Okay, crystals act as a frequency stabilizer, and our energy will entrain or synchronize with the crystal. And this is how we remove energy blocks from our energy field. That's the short story. But our DNA constantly is surveilling surroundings and reshaping itself. So do you want your DNA to synchronize with a crystal or to your Wi-Fi router? I choose a crystal every single time. I do not want my DNA reshaping itself to 5G Wi-Fi or 10G, which is now on the market. So in the crystal classes, I talk about the layers of our energy field. And when you understand our energy field and the flow of energy and how it manifests physical ailments, emotional ailments, mental blocks, and all of these disruptive energies that come to us, and then understanding how crystals can actually balance our energy field. You know, when I teach how to put crystals and clean our energy field, it ain't woo-woo. It's science, okay? It's an oscillator. It's a frequency stabilizer. So, you know, crystals contain the DNA of Earth. The Earth is literally birthing these crystals to us. And, you know, I think we can all agree that when we are connected with nature, we feel great, right? Some of us love water. I was just at Lake Michigan today. It's the most spectacular lake in the world, in my opinion. I don't care that it was 30 degrees outside. It was spectacular. I feel great. I go there when I am stressed, and I feel fantastic afterward. Some people go to the woods. Some people go to the mountains. Some people just need to go outside and take a breath of fresh air or be in the sunshine. When we connect with the earth, we feel good and we heal. There's a whole scientific field of study called earthing, where when we connect with the earth, it actually creates an anti-inflammatory effect in the body and heals us. Well, crystals are basically the earth. The earth is birthing her crystals and saying, here's my children. Take them, care for them, use them, love them. Don't let them sit in a drawer and collect dust. So crystals contain all the healing frequency and all the healing benefits that the earth offers. And crystals transmit an energy, whether you're holding a crystal, you're laying it on your body, you have it in a room, it is energetically changing your energy field. Okay. So, you know, in my basic class, I talk about how certain crystals will transmute or literally change the frequency of negative energies like electromagnetic frequencies and Wi-Fi. There are certain crystals that will do that, and I have a machine that tests it, okay, that I like to show in class. And then there's other crystals that amplify the energy of other crystals. There are crystals that you can program. There are crystals that store information. It's what Silicon Valley and the tech industry uses to power all of our technology. Your smartwatch, your phone, your computer or tablet that you're on right now is all powered by crystal energy. It is. Your television screen is probably an LCD. LCD stands for liquid crystal display. We use crystals in the medical industry, in the scientific industry. They're using it in the car chips right now. So, you know, when people, again, think that crystals are woo-woo, I'm like, you actually use crystals every day. If you're driving a car, if you're using a phone, if you're using a computer, if you go get any medical test done, you're experiencing the power of crystals. So I love diving deeper into my classes about this to help you understand. We're surrounded by crystals. We have crystals in our body, and we live on a crystal planet. It ain't woo-woo, okay? All right. So this is just some Kirlian photography of what it looks like, the energy coming off of crystals. So Kirlian photography is actually used by governments all over the world, and it detects energy. So you can see there's energy coming off of crystals. So don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for your love of crystals, because you're feeling the frequency of the crystals. So in all of my classes, I teach how to make crystal grids. And this is an example of a crystal grid. I actually have this one active right now in my house. I have 7, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 active crystal grids in my house right now. There is scientific backing of how this works because it's based on sacred geometry. So I love to teach people how to do this, because you are then taking each crystal, connecting them to each other and amplifying it. Okay, so you don't have to worry about buying huge, ginormous crystals. You can just create a grid and create a huge energy field, combined with your intentions to create whatever you want it to create. So this is why, especially in my basic class, I call it science, art, and grids, because I teach you the science. You can get very artistic in a grid, and it just is a beautiful left brain, right brain experience that you can have. So one question that I get from a lot of people is, how do I know if I'm buying real crystals or fake crystals? That's a good question. I can guarantee we've all bought fake crystals. And so in the chat, I'd love to know what you think. Are these natural? Like, did these come out of the earth looking like this? What do you think? So one thing I like to do on my social media pages is call out the fake crystals. And of course, I have to put like a really snarky song to it, like Thompson Twins Lies, Lies song, you know, something like that. And sadly, I saw a lot of fake crystals in Tucson, so I'm going to be doing a reel on that tomorrow. Yeah, it's shocking. So there's a lot of lab created, lab altered, and overly processed crystals on the market that do not have crystalline structure to them. And I actually educate my students so that we do not fund this industry. So just like in my animal protection work, you know, I teach about we shouldn't be putting money in the hands of the puppy mills because they're just going to keep creating more puppies in horrible situations. We cannot put money in their hands. Likewise, we cannot put money in the hands of the people creating fake crystals. Let's just dry up the market. Let's dry up the market. So what you see on the left is a heat-treated citrine, which is a vast majority of the citrine on the market. It is still a real crystal. I explained why in my basic class, but it did not come out of the earth looking like that. But yet it is still real. The one on the right, however, again, heat treated, did not come out of the earth looking like that. And the technique that created that, that's called an irradiated quartz. It's actually very dangerous because radiation was used. And it is often a crystal that is recommended for people going through chemo and radiation. And the last thing that we want to do is to give somebody a crystal where radiation was used and they're going through radiation treatment. And this is where knowledge is power. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you guys see anything like this, fakey, fakety, fakes, Mother Earth produces beautiful colors. She does not produce that. And so I really want my students to be really smart crystal consumers. I have bought fake crystals in the past, and I didn't realize it at the time because they're getting really skilled at making fake crystals. So like in my advanced crystal class, which is 18 hours long, we spend about anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours. And I go through extensively identifying fake crystals. I mean, it is shocking what is out there. So I just want us to be smart in how we spend our money. Do not put your money in any of that. Anything with the word aura, A-U-R-A, don't buy it. It has been altered so badly, it's not even a real crystal anymore. So we are living in, what happened? So we're living in this really energetically stressful world. I don't know if you're feeling it. I see it. I really see it in people. I see it in how physically unwell people are. And, you know, with mystery illnesses, and they're like, I eat really well. And, you know, I don't know why I feel so sick all the time. I see it in how emotionally unbalanced people are. That's actually coming through in horrific violence towards people and just treating each other badly. I see it in mental nervous system disorders and people struggling to regulate their nervous system. And I see it spiritually in how disconnected people are from something that can give them faith and give them guidance and help them feel good in this world. And crystals are one of the best tools for dealing with this energy change, this energy shift that we're in. You know, the earth is changing her vibration. You know, the earth's frequency is dramatically increasing. You know, this is the sort of stuff we talk about in the Sacred Shift group. And it's leaving people anxious and ungrounded. And crystals can ground us to the earth so that we ride these energies better. It's like we're on a roller coaster. Crystals can belt you into that roller coaster so that, yeah, we're all screaming, but you're actually screaming in joy. And you get to the end and you're like, let's do it again. And if you're not grounded, you're screaming in fear. And I see a lot of fear out there. Technology and electromagnetic frequencies, we have no idea what that is doing to us at a cellular level because it's not like anybody wants to fund those studies. There's some studies out there, and I've read them, and it's pretty horrific. But we are mostly water, and you can literally change the structure of water with your words. So imagine what an unseen energy like Wi-Fi and EMFs are doing to the water in our body. And I talk about crystals that can help transmute these negative energies, because the one thing that I teach is that we never block an energy. I hear teachers talking all the time about blocking energies. No, no, no. Because if you block it, it boomerangs. I talk about how we use crystals to transmute and change the energy. And that's what crystals can do. They can change it. We don't ever want to block. And then energetically, we live in a world full of toxins that negatively impacts our DNA, and crystals can help our DNA synchronize in a healthy way. And this is where high vibrational crystals come in to help us feel better. And then we live in a world full of toxic emotions. And I know you're all thinking of that one person that you know, where you're like, oh my gosh, when the phone rings, I don't pick it up. Or when they want to get together, I'm like, oh, I really should, but oh, I'm just going to walk away feeling horrible. And we all know those people. They need crystals, by the way. They need crystals. Okay. So you need to bring them to a class with you. You know, with all the divisiveness in the world, crystals can really help you feel connected to something bigger and give you balance. And I mean, there are soothing crystals out there that can just bring you such deep emotional balance and will help you understand why pretty much every evening you can find me laying on my couch watching a happy movie or The Bachelor. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it right now. The Bachelor's on tonight. I'm a Bachelor Nation gal because other people's hot mess actually makes me feel better. But I'm laying on the couch and I'm covered in crystals because I'm rebalancing my energy. There's crystals on my nightstand. Heck, I have 500 pounds of crystals in my house. I can't go anywhere without there being crystals because they are emotionally soothing. And I teach you actually how to do that. Because in these energies, we have to ground ourselves to the earth, but we have to ascend and raise our frequency at the same time. And I teach you the crystals that do that. I teach you how to do it. And this is where I see transformations happen with people. I literally see it. Even if they don't recognize what's happening, I see it. It's like, oh, you're working with your crystals. And I love that. I love that when they understand that. So when it comes to working with crystals, you know, there's a variety of things that you can do, you know, put them around your home, larger pieces. You know, I'll help you understand that larger pieces have a certain energy range. And so you can actually figure out, okay, this piece is going to fill this floor of my house or fill this room. You know, put crystals in your workspace. And in my classes, I help you understand that there are certain crystals that never, ever, ever should go near technology. And then other crystals that must go near technology to block the electromagnetic frequencies. Like I got certain crystals between me and my computer. Certain crystals that you can put a little patch on the back of your phone and it's protective. It's not woo-woo. It's very protective. You know, you can put crystals on your nightstand to help you sleep. You know, wearing crystals. I always wear crystals. And unfortunately, there's a lot of fake crystal jewelry out there. And I teach you two different ways to test if a crystal is real. This is something that you learn in my basic class. But when you wear a crystal as a necklace or a bracelet, or you put crystals in your pocket or in your bra, I got a whole bunch of ladies around the world with crystals in their bra, and they are super happy. It actually will change your frequency and you'll feel better. I teach you how to place crystals in water safely and drink the water. You can even add oils to it. How you can hold a crystal during meditation or prayer or quiet time or when you're journaling. And it will help you focus better, to quiet your mind. I mean, do you struggle with meditation? I've always struggled with meditation, but when I use certain crystals, it stills the bouncing ideas in my brain. Because when we can still our mind, that's when we get inspired ideas and inspired thoughts. That's where people are very creative. But if you're on the go all the time and you cannot calm down what they call the monkey brain, where it's like bing, 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 there's no creativity to be had. And we are here to be creative people. And then I teach how to place crystals on the body or around the body for balance. I'll teach you my technique of how to lay on the couch, watch The Bachelor or Hallmark movie, and let the crystals work on you. So there's all different ways that you can work with crystals. So let me talk to you about some of my favorite crystals, because you may have some of these, you may want some of these. I do go into greater detail in my classes on these specific crystals. So this is getting into a little more of the metaphysics. So staying grounded is really important in our world as we shift into higher energy. I mean, the Earth's frequency is shifting. It's increasing. We have to increase with her, but we have to stay connected to the Earth. And grounding crystals can really help calm the anxious feelings, jittery feelings, the racing mind, the roller coaster emotions. They can help you sleep and help you focus and think clearly, help you make good decisions, help you have a calmness and a peacefulness around you. You know, I'm finding too many people are ungrounded and their energy is really off-putting. I'm finding it with a lot of business people who kind of come off like a crazy chihuahua energy, and they're just like, you know, blah, 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 and it's like, yeah, you just turned me off. You may be selling the most amazing product, but no, because they're not grounded. They don't have a calm, confident, peaceful way about them. So let me tell you about just 4 crystals. I could literally go into 400, but let me tell you about 4 that I really like. Amethyst. Everybody can find amethyst in any crystal store. It really calms when you're feeling overly sensitive. We all have those moments. I was having a moment today. That's why I went to the lake, took my crystals. So when you're feeling overly sensitive, when you need emotional balancing, it has iron in it. Iron is protective and grounding. And so it transmutes, it doesn't block, it transmutes energies, like lower energies that make you feel off balance. That's what it does. Or light 23. That's what I'm holding here. It may look like amethyst. It's not amethyst. It has an amethyst look to it. It has amethyst in it, but it also has 23 other minerals in it. It comes from the Canadian side of Lake Superior. And it has 23 grounded yet very high vibrational crystals in it. And when it is red capped, it is very rare. But the red cap is iron and it's grounding. So it's grounding, but yet it has high vibrational minerals in it. Remember I said we need to ground and ascend? That does it. Black tourmaline is just straight up grounding. Transmutes negative energies, electromagnetic frequencies, and this is a crystal you want to place in your technology. And then smoky quartz, even smoky rutilated quartz, very grounding. Just holding it will calm you when you feel very stressed, when you feel stressful, when you feel anxious. And if it has the rutiles in it, which look like golden threads, it gives you a really nice energy infusion. So it's grounding, yet it boosts your energy. Now let's talk about high vibrational crystals. I'm totally into the high vibrational crystals. As you can tell, I had a hard time picking what to show you. So, you know, although crystals have been around for millions and billions of years, we are experiencing a surfacing, like crystals literally bubble up to the surface. And we're getting a large number of high vibrational crystals to help us with the energy shift. The Earth is raising her frequency. We got to do it too. Okay. So collectively, we are ready to receive these crystals. And this is why I love going to Tucson, because I make the new discoveries when I'm in Tucson. I made some beautiful discoveries this year. Oh, I'm so excited to share them with everybody. So some of these are difficult to find. Some of them are easy to find. But let me talk about clear quartz, whether it's a Tibetan quartz, a Himalayan quartz, a Lemurian quartz. These are master healers. And clear quartz, its entire job is to just move chi, energy in the body. That's it. That's what it does. I mean, it just moves energy. So I love the Tibetan quartz. It's known as the global peacekeeper and contains the Om vibration of the Tibetan side of the Himalayan mountains. Himalayan quartz. So when I go to Tucson, I meet up with one of my favorite vendors. I've been buying from them since 2013. They're from India. They mine the best Himalayan quartz I've ever seen. Pink Himalayan, green Himalayan. Oh my gosh. I always get a stash each year. And I love working with them. They are just the most precious people. But Himalayan quartz is known as the eye of God. I mean, it is a very, very high vibrational, personal, high frequency crystal. And when you are drawn to a Himalayan, it has work that it's going to do with you. The Lemurians come from Brazil. They come from Colombia. And Lemurians pick the person. I love Lemurians. I talk about this in the advanced class because you can identify them by location, by certain traits. And when a Lemurian picks you, boy, does it have transformation in store for you. So I love to offer Lemurians through my private crystal store. Herkimer diamonds are a type of quartz. And, you know, they come from Herkimer County, New York. So, you know, yay, USA crystal. But they are really great for raising your vibration and helps with cellular balancing. Imagine if your cells were balanced. Imagine how you'd feel. I love Herkimers. Love, 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 love them. I also love kunzite. Okay, kunzite, and this is getting harder to get, and I explain why, but it comes from Afghanistan. And at this point, I'm not buying any crystals coming out of Afghanistan. But if you have kunzite, if you've bought it from me before, the money has gone into ethical hands, hasn't gone into terrorism. Okay, I talk about this in the advanced class about where some crystal money can actually go into bad hands, and you need to be aware of that and be knowledgeable. But kunzite, if you have kunzite, oh my gosh, it's called the Stone of Emotion. It is all about unconditional love of self and others. I think every fussy baby, new mom, and teenage girl needs to have a kunzite. I think it's amazing, amazing energy. I love apophyllite. I brought back a small supply of apophyllite from Tucson. It's known as the Reiki stone. Okay, so if you're a Reiki practitioner, this is a great crystal to have. And it is fantastic for intuition, for calming, and for vision casting. If you struggle with goal setting, this is a crystal that you want to have. Danburite. I love danburite. It is a crystal of enlightenment. It is a fifth dimensional crystal. And if you have no clue what that means, I talk about this in my crystal classes, the different dimensions that we live in. It is a very pure, high vibration, like heart chakra, crown chakra crystal that very, very deeply healing and helps with deep change. A lot of human beings don't like change. Danburite helps you handle change, because if you're not changing, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So let's get comfortable with change, and danburite helps you with that. Citrine. So see that crystal in the middle? Doesn't that look like a smoky quartz? That's actually a natural citrine. So I help you understand in my basic class the difference between a heat-treated citrine and a natural citrine. But citrine is your happy, optimistic crystal. If you use essential oils, citrine is the equivalent of lemon. Okay, it is your lemon oil. It is happy. It is sun energy. It is good if you're tired or fatigued or cranky. I mean, it just helps you feel happy. Happy, happy crystal. Selenite, very pure white light energy. I mean, this is like the highest vibrational frequency is the white flame. Very high vibration, very balancing. It clears your energy field and just moves stagnation. So if you feel stuck, you want to work with selenite. Demoderite and quartz. Oh my gosh, I love demoderite. Demoderite for me is the crystal to break old patterns. Okay. If you have goals, you have to stop doing something and start doing something new. Because if you keep doing everything the same, you're just going to have the same results. And if you have a goal, that means you want something new. So you have to change something. You have to let something go. You have to let an old habit go. And I love demoderite. It just breaks old patterns, helps you get really clear on intentions. And I use it to remove these blocks. I love it. I love demoderite and quartz. And then what else we got? Hematite phantom quartz. Oh, this is just, hematite is very strengthening, empowering, courageous. It's basically the equivalent of valor oil from my Young Living friends here. And when you put it in quartz, it's very transformative and rejuvenating. It's a phenomenal crystal. So these are just some of my favorite high vibrational crystals. So, all right, I want to talk about my classes because if you have not taken any of my full day classes, I want to tell you what you get. This is a little snippet of what you get. So my basic class is 8 hours long. My animal class is 8 hours long. My advanced class is 18 hours long. That's how much there is to learn. And I can honestly tell you, I'm probably going to be creating additional classes because there is still more to learn beyond that. So in the basic and the animal class, we spend all morning and we go into the science so that I really help you understand, because when you understand the science, it then explains all the spiritual, woo-woo, metaphysical descriptions that are in the crystal books. Like, who says that rose quartz is a heart healer? I explain that so that you understand. Who says that amethyst is protective? I help you understand from a scientific level so that you can make that bridge over to the spiritual. Okay? So we go through everything that's on the screen. We go through all sorts of great things. We make crystal water. We drink it. We do crystal water taste testing. I help you understand grids, crystal grids, body grids, all sorts of great things. And in the animal class, there is a difference in how we use crystals with people and animals. There's a difference. That's why it's a separate 8-hour class. Both the basic and the animal, you get a scientific foundation, and then we split. In the basic class, it's all about you and how you use crystals with yourself. And in the animal class, all sorts of information about how I use crystals with all sorts of animals, all sorts of animals. So in the advanced class, we go very, very deep into science, how crystals are formed, sacred geometry, identifying fake crystals. I go into the 12 master crystals. I go into like 25 advanced crystals, and advanced chakras, advanced layouts, advanced tools that you can use. I go into crystal ethics and even business practices. So with each class, you get crystals and you get an extensive workbook that I have created that has been tweaked and upgraded and updated for the last 12 years. I keep adding to it. So, I mean, the basic and the animal classes, the workbooks are well over 50 pages, and the advanced class is well over 130 pages. All right. Now, when you enroll for any of these classes, you get an invitation to my Crystal Cluster group. This is my exclusive graduate community of continuing education. Even before you take a class, you can join this community. here's what I love about this community. We unapologetically love crystals and we understand them. So we have great conversations. We meet up once a month on Zoom and just talk crystals. Sometimes I bring in guest speakers. Last month we had somebody in the group who specializes in Ayurvedic medicine and crystals. This month, when we meet up, I'm going to talk about how you navigate the Tucson show because it's quite an ordeal. So you learn all sorts of things. You can ask questions. You can interact with people. We have a private Facebook page. But I think the one thing that people like the most, first access to my private crystal store. Because not anybody can just message me and say, hey, Allie, I want these crystals. It's a private crystal store for a reason. It is primarily for my students. And the crystal cluster group always gets first access. So the Tucson crystals, the 200 pounds that I just brought back, they get first dibs. And the first online sale in our private group is this Sunday. And I can tell you, at least 75% of the crystals that I bring back never make it out of the crystal cluster because they understand crystals and boom, they go in and they grab almost everything. Whatever is left, a week later, I offer it publicly on the Manifested Harmony Facebook page, but there may not be much left. When I think of the last 3 years of Tucson shows, 75 to 80% of the crystals I brought back never made it to a public sale. So this is what people like. I go and get and hand select rare, unique, very special crystals that we need right now. These are crystals you're not going to find in crystal stores. I love doing this. I love it, love it, love it. So anyway, you get an invitation to join that. So I offer 3 different certifications. Some people like to get certified just for the achievement, the accomplishment of it. And other people blend it with a business that they have. So I offer a certified crystal healer, a certified animal crystal healer, and a certified advanced crystal healer. Okay. So I explain more about this. You have to get all the way through the advanced class, and then I go through the details of it. But I love seeing people get certified and what they do with it. Even people who have said to me, I'm never going to do anything with the certification, but I'm going to get it just for the accomplishment of doing it. I'm now seeing them do amazing things with it. Like adding crystals to their reflexology business, where they're literally pressing crystals to the feet of people during reflexology sessions. I mean, I see such amazing things happening, and I love that. So I am enrolling right now. The basic class is coming up fast. Okay, registration closes in a week for the basic class. So I teach in person as well as online, and I only teach twice a year. These will come back in the fall. Okay, so if you are like, okay, I love crystals, I am buying crystals, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, I want to be a smart shopper, I want to use the crystals that I have and I want to know how to use them, please, I'd love to have you in class. I love getting to know everybody. I love seeing the aha moments. I love the questions. I love the interaction. And even with the online class, it is highly interactive. I have a lot of photos. I have a lot of videos. I have a PowerPoint. We ask questions. I have you do things. So 8 hours may seem like a long time to be online. It goes like that. It is super fast. So I'd love to have you join in. If you are interested in the animal class, again, I teach it in person and you can practice on my cats. Rudy was just in here playing with a toy. I'm surprised he didn't hop on the back of my chair yet. Or if you're not in the mid-Michigan area, hop online, okay? I love showing all the unique ways of how I have been working with crystals, with cats, with dogs, with farm animals, in animal shelters, in veterinary clinics, in boarding facilities and doggy daycares. I mean, there's all sorts of ways to utilize crystals with animals. And I love sharing that information. And then the advanced class, I offer a bundle discount. And if you're like, I'm just going to go for it, 2024 is the year that I'm just going to go for it. I want to learn about all this stuff that Allie keeps talking about. I give a discount. Okay. So if you take the basic and the advanced together, I get a discount. You get a discount. I give a discount on the animal class if you volunteer or work with animals. Okay. I want you to know the stuff to help the animals that you're working with. So, and everybody who registers is going to get a special surprise gift from Tucson. You're going to get an extra gift in addition to the crystals that I send to you. Now, I don't know if anybody is watching here that's in another country. I give a discount if you're in another country because I can't mail the crystals to you. So I give you a discount and tell you what crystals to go buy locally. But everybody gets a workbook. And if you're in the US, I mail the crystals to you so that you don't have to worry about anything. It comes in a package. I tell you exactly what to do with them. And then we work with them during class. So I make it super easy. I like the easy button on everything. All right. So just go to manifestatharmony.com/crystal classes, and get yourself enrolled. Okay. So we only got about 7 days left for enrolling for the basic class. So we got about 2 weeks left for the animal class. And I'd love to hang out with you. I mean, these are fun classes. And I want to see the aha moment that you have, because every evaluation form over the last 12 years, I mean, everybody's like, I had no idea. And they have a very deep appreciation for the money that they have spent on crystals. And I want to help you feel good about the crystals that you have and the crystals that you're going to buy. I want you to feel good about it. I don't want you to ever feel like, oh, I need to hide this and not tell my spouse or not tell my friends. No, I want you to be out of the crystal closet and say, look at what I bought. Look at what I bought. And let me tell you what it does for me. Okay. I love confident crystal buyers. All right. I am going to stop the recording. And if you have any questions, you can unmute your line. And for those who are watching the recording, you know where to find me. On any of these social media pages, you can message me if you have any questions. All right. Thanks for joining in.